Hello! Today we're going to be taking a look at a Soviet military TA-57 field telephone. As the name suggests, these were introduced in 1957 and they were in service as late as the 1990s in the first Gulf War. I think the Iraqis were using them at that point. So, there's a pretty unusual design to this. You don't really see field telephones like this. Normally it's like a metal box. Very, very Soviet looking, I think it's fair to say. So all you've got on the outside are many strap mounting lugs for all your shoulder carrying needs. Little folding metal hand crank and this little button, and that's how you open it. There's also these two sort of handset hook switches, which I really can't find much use for in sort of normal 2-wire configurations. Let's take a look inside. They're very stiff to open because this catch is just a big heavy gauge piece of sheet steel that's been sort of bent into shape. Very stiff to open. So we've got the handset here, receiver at this end, microphone at this end. Microphone's unusual in that you can talk into it from either side, so you could have it sort of like a normal phone, or you could hold it like that up to your mouth. There's also a push to talk switch here, which you have to hold down if you want the person on the other end to hear you. So let's pull all the cable out. The handset is on a little connector. You can actually unplug these and swap them out if you damage them. It also has two little holes on the top. I believe they're for adding an extra earpiece, so your commanding officer or whoever can listen in on what you're saying. Well, what the other person's saying. So other than that, there's a battery compartment here. These originally took a very obsolete Soviet 9-volt sort of box battery. So I've made a little bodge adapter out of some wood and sheet metal to fit a 9-volt PP3 in. You know, come up with your own bodge, it's easy enough. The left-hand contact is the positive, right-hand is the negative. That's all you really need to know. Down here, there's 3 terminals. These are the most heavily sprung terminals I've ever experienced. They take some real force, which is probably to stop the wire from escaping, because you really won't want that happening in a sort of service situation. So they're easy peasy to connect up. If we want to run these in parallel, so just you turn the crank and however many phones are connected to it will ring, which is a sort of normal mode of operation nowadays. People don't generally have central exchanges with loads of these starred off, so I'll show you how to do that. So to do that, we're going to need a second TA-57. So I'm going to put you on the wide angle. Here we have another unit. Again, this one has been fitted with a battery adapter. So all we're going to do is take some 2-coil wire. It's just some stranded stuff that I've sort of twiddled together. And we're going to put one end in the right hand terminal, like that, and the other one in the far left hand terminal. So I'm going to ignore this middle terminal. I'm not really sure what it's for, perhaps a central battery arrangement, so we're going to ignore that. So then we just close it. There's handy little holes for running your cables, always appreciated. I'm just going to put the handset on the top, keep it nice and tidy. We'll do the same on the other end. It doesn't matter which polarity you sort of put these in. Like if you put a wire into the left hand terminal on one and the right hand on the other, it doesn't really matter. So done the same now. And the cable again. So that's all there is to it. Very quick to set up. I think the range of these is something like a few miles, but I'll put that on the screen somewhere. So all you have to do to ring the other end, so I'm going to use this phone to ring that end, is just wind this little crank. I can do the same on the other end as well. So when you wind that crank, all it does is ring the bell on the other end. You don't need to crank it while you talk. That's what that battery's in there for, to amplify your speech. So all we've got to do to talk is, got the other guy on the other end, just put the microphone to your mouth, hold this button and talk. So I'm going to talk into this end and put this near the mic so you can hear it. This is a test, this is a test. So easy peasy. Now this is not a duplex communication system, so if you're holding down that button and talking, you can't hear what the other person's saying, so you've got to take it in turns. I don't think many field telephones of this era had duplex comms. But yeah, that's literally all there is to these. You can do more complicated things like central battery arrangements, I think, but I've never really looked into it because A, I've got no need, and 2, I don't read Russian, so the technical documentation is sort of out of my depth. But yeah, that's really all there is to these. Quite handy. So, that's the end of the video, guys. See you later.